Good morning, dear students. Welcome to the online sessions by the Department of English. Today, I am going to deal with the second part of the chapter, A Sunny Morning. In the first session, we have been introduced to the two central characters of the play, Donna Laura and Don Gonzalo. Both of them were in their 70s. Donna Laura appeared to be so bright and refined and handsome. She was so happy to be at the park. As soon as she entered, she mentioned that it was a beautiful morning. Though in her 70s, it appears that her mental faculties are fine. Don Gonzalo, on the other hand, seemed to be so restless and impatient. He entered with the support of his servant, Juanito. He had gout and he seemed to be so restless. In contrast with what Donna Laura had stated, Don Gonzalo, or his first statement was that a complaint. Don Gonzalo complained about the three priests occupying his usual bench at the park, and he refused to sit near Donna Laura when Juanito pointed out to him that there was vacant space in the bench. He made a lot of comments about the priests and was stating that they should have been at the church saying mass rather than sitting there at the park wasting their time. Later, he tried to move to the other side of the park, trying to find a whole bench for himself, and as he was about to go, he scared away the birds that were being fed by Donna Laura. She was so angry at him for two reasons mainly. The first reason was that he scared away her birds. She had come to the park. She had asked her maid Petra to go and speak to her guard, her lover, the keeper of the park. And she was having some time happily spent with the pigeons that she was feeding. And this man entered and he scared away the birds. Second reason was that he flatly refused to sit near her. So for these reasons, Laura questioned his activity, and then Gonzalo mentioned to her that it was not right from a lady to speak to a stranger in this way, and he moved away, made his exit to the right of his stage, and that means that he had gone to find another seat for himself because he stated that he wanted a whole bench for himself. Now, this is where we had stopped in the last class. Both Juanito and Gonzalo go out, and now it is Laura's turn. She says, "What an ill-natured old man! Why must people get so fussy and cross when they reach a certain age?" See, her first impression about Don Gonzalo, ill-natured old man. There is no doubt that he is old. He had a problem with his walking. He was actually dragging his feet. And ill-mannered here means a man without manners, a man who does not know how to speak to ladies. And then she was wondering, when people grow old, when people become old, why should they be fussy and cross? Cross means angry and fussy means, cranky. Why should they become cranky like this? Why can't they speak properly? Looking toward right, I'm glad he lost that bench too. Serves him right for scaring the birds. Now she keeps on watching him. She doesn't have anything else to do. The birds have gone up. And now she watches him, and what does she find? She found that he had gone and there was one vacant bench. By the time he reached that bench, somebody had already occupied it. She was so happy. Just like a small child, she exclaims that it's very nice that he did not get a bench. Why? Because he scared away my birds. That's a punishment for him, she exclaims. He is furious. Yes, Find a seat if you can. And now she understood that Gonzalo is so furious, so angry because he did not get a whole bench for himself. And then she is as if challenging him. Yes, old man, go, search, walk by dragging your feet and let me see whether you will get a seat, because she almost knows that the park is full. He is wiping the perspiration from his face. Here he comes. Now from her dialogue, we understand that he has not got a place to sit and he is wiping the perspiration. Perspiration means sweat. He was sweating because it was a sunny morning. He had walked and moreover he is an old man. So he comes back to sit probably near Laura because he was not able to find a seat on the other side of the park. A carriage would not raise more dust than his feet. And then she says, just to look at the way he walks, as he walks, dust comes up. Doesn't he think about the other people at the park? And if a carriage had gone by that way, this much of dust would not have been there, she says. Enter Don Gonzalo and Juanito by right and walk toward left. Now they have gone out by right, they come back from that side and now they have come near Donna Laura. So from this dialogue we very clearly understand what impression Donna Laura had got about Don Gonzalo. And after coming back, Gonzalo says, "Have the priests gone yet, Juanito?" "No, indeed, Senor. They are still there." So the first question that he asks is, are the priests still there? See, definitely he can see whether they are there or not. But he makes sure that he gets an answer from his servant. So he's asking, are the priests still there or have they gone? And Juanito replies, "No, Senor, no sir, they are still there, sitting there." Gonzalo, "The authorities should place more benches here for these sunny mornings." So now the next complaint from him, what is his complaint? His complaint is this: see, it's a sunny morning. You can expect more people over here. And what are these park authorities doing? Why don't they have more benches here for old people like us? If they had kept more benches, there would not have been this problem arising right now. So they should always remember that more benches are kept. So another complaint that park authorities are not doing their duty in a proper way. "Well, I suppose I must resign myself and sit on the bench with the old lady." And then he speaks to himself, "Okay, I'm tired. It's a sunny morning. I have walked all the way. I have almost gone round the park. I couldn't find a bench. This is the only place left for me. I think I don't have any other option other than sitting near this old lady." And just mark this term, old lady. Muttering to himself, he sits at the extreme end of Donna Laura's bench and looks at her indignantly. So muttering is, whispering in a lower voice. So as he is sitting, and that too he doesn't sit, so near to Donna Laura, but sits on the extreme end, the other end of Laura's bench. And as he sits there, he's just speaking to himself. And then in between, he just has quick glances towards her. He's angry that he has to settle now near this old woman. Touches his hat as he greets her. "Good morning." It is a gentlemanly quality that you greet your neighbor. Donna Laura in that sense is a neighbor for him because she sits at the other end of the bench. So as he sits, he just touches his hat. The actual practice is that if you are wearing a hat, you have to take the hat off and then bow your head and then greet. And what does he do? He just touches it. Just he wanted to show her that, I am a gentleman, so I am just showing my gentlemanly quality. In actual, he hates her. "Laura, what? You here again?" And Laura is also, not such a submissive person. So she asks a question, "How come you are here? You had gone to the other end of the park to find a place, and now why did you come back?" Gonzalo, "I repeat that we have not met. Lady, we already had a verbal combat, and I told that we have not met. We have not met means we are strangers and I don't want to have another quarrel with you. I was responding to your salute. So now Laura says, see, I was just responding. You greeted me and this was my greeting in return. Why did you come back? Or my response to your greeting. Gonzalo, good morning should be answered by good morning and that's all you should have said. Dear lady, what did I say? I greeted you by saying good morning. And you are simply picking up fight with me. You should have simply responded by returning a good morning to me. You should have asked permission to sit on this bench which is mine. So now Laura says, see, my point is very clear. This bench is mine and you are sitting there. Did you get my permission? You should have got it. The benches here are public property. So now Gonzalo is not ready to sit silently. He says, no, the benches in this park, they're public property. Anybody can come and sit, occupy the seats. It's not yours. Laura, why? You said the one the priests have was yours. She reminds him of his own statement some time back. You know, some time back, what did you say? You stated that bench where the priests were sitting, that was yours. If that bench is yours, this bench is mine. I was just making it clear. Very well, very well. I have nothing more to say. Between his teeth, senile old lady. So now Gonzalo doesn't want to take this, verbal combat further. He wanted to put an end to that. And again, he doesn't have any justification for his actions or for his words. So he says, okay, fine. I don't want to speak further. I am keeping quiet now. And between his teeth, he was so angry that it just comes out. Senile old lady. Senile means a person who has got degenerated mental faculties. He says, this old lady is not such a normal woman. That's what he mentioned. She ought to be at home knitting and counting her beads. And then he proposes 2 jobs for her. She's an old woman. Why does she come to the park, sit here, giving us all sorts of trouble? She should have been knitting and counting her beads. This refers to 2 assigned tasks to these women during the olden days, especially in Europe when you become old. There are 2 actions or 2 works to which you are confined. One is knitting. Knitting is nothing but making a fabric using a continuous yarn. So knitting sweaters, that was one of the jobs that old ladies used to take up. Generally it was a woman's work. It was considered as a woman's work. And now counting her beads, this is a reference to the prayer. Counting her beads means as you count the beads, you would be uttering the prayer. So old ladies ought to utter their prayers sitting at home because soon after they are going to die. So at least let them remember God, let them pray God to help them at their old age. She should have done that. Instead, she's simply creating problem for me. Don't grumble anymore. I'm not going to leave just to please you. So Laura could not hear these words because he was actually muttering. He was speaking in a very low voice, but she understood that it might have been a curse on her. So she says, don't grumble, don't speak like this, don't complain, no more complaints if you are sitting here. I won't leave. Don't think I will leave this place. I'll sit here. Gonzalo, brushing the dust from his shoes with his handkerchief, if the ground was sprinkled a little, it would be an improvement. Now, another suggestion from his side, again to the park authorities. What he does is, he takes his handkerchief. We remember that as he was coming back to Donna Laura from the other side of the park, he was just wiping the sweat on his face using a handkerchief. The same handkerchief he took out. Now, he is dusting his shoes. See, usually nobody dusts the shoes with a handkerchief, but he does that. And then he gives a suggestion. If the people had sprinkled a little water, this dust would not have flown. And these people are not doing their duty. So it would have been an improvement if they do that. Do you use your handkerchief as a shoe brush? So now Laura is watching this man so keenly. And she finds another point on which she can tease him, she can taunt him. So she's asking him, see, we usually don't use handkerchief to brush our shoes, but do you use that? And here comes Gonzalo's reply, why not? Why can't we do? Handkerchief and shoes, both are mine. I can do it very well. Laura, do you use a shoe brush as a handkerchief? So let me ask you another question. If you are using a handkerchief to dust your shoes, do you use a shoe brush to wipe your face? Do you do that? And Gonzalo is so angry, he says, what right have you to criticize my actions? And Gonzalo is quite angry on this old woman. He had already stated that she has to be quiet now and he doesn't want more conversation with her. And now she has questioned him and he says, why are you criticizing me? My shoes, my handkerchief, I'll do whatever I wish to. Why do you want to poke your nose into each and everything that I do? And Naiba's right. And Laura says, I can question because you sit near me and do all these nonsense. So don't you think as a neighbor I have a right? Juanito, my book. I do not care to listen to nonsense. So now he very clearly stated, see, you speak nonsense. I don't want more of that. Juanito, please give my book. Let me read now. So we understand that he's going to read now. You're very polite. So Laura understood that this man was all the more angry on her. So she makes a comment on him, says that you're so polite. I have never seen gentlemen speaking in such a polite manner. This was a sarcastic comment on his speech and actions. Because, he was reminding her of her womanly qualities. He stated that she should not have spoken like that to a stranger. So now she is reminding him of his gentlemanly qualities. A man should not be so aggressive towards ladies. This is what she means. Gonzalo, pardon me, Senora, but never interfere with what does not concern you. So again he said, excuse me, please stop this for a while and don't interfere with my affairs. You mind your business. Very clearly he meant. I generally say what I think. So now Laura says, I was just speaking out. Whatever comes to my mind, I can't hide. I just spoke it. Gonzalo, and more to the same effect. Give me the book, Juanito. So Gonzalo is convinced that it's better to be quiet, so he asks for the book. Juanito, here, senor. Juanito hands over the book. Juanito takes a book from his pocket, hands it to Gonzalo, then exits by right. So the man immediately gave the book. Juanito gave him the book. He took the book and he went out by the right side of the stage. So we understand that it must have been a practice for the master to be alone for quite a while the servant goes out and engages himself. Gonzalo, casting indignant glances at Donna Laura. Now, casting indignant glances means looking angrily at Laura. Puts on an enormous pair of glasses, takes from his pocket a reading glass, adjusts both to suit him and opens his book. Now what does he do? First he took out spectacles from his pocket and he placed it properly, and again it was an enormous pair of glasses. What does it mean? He might have got very, very poor eyesight. Then he opened the book and in between he had taken out one more glass that was a reading glass. Now reading glass is nothing but a magnifying glass. So he put on his spectacles, took the reading glass, kept the book like this, and he was just trying to read it. So what is the purpose now? The reading glass will once magnify the letters in the book or the words in the book, and then with his spectacles he can read on. So the man now is about to read. Now Donna Laura, again watching him, says, I thought you were taking out a telescope. Laura found another action that was quite amusing from his side. Oh, I really thought it was a telescope. You're going to read with a telescope? The telescope is actually used to, observe the sky, watch the sky and the objects. And here she comments on his poor eyesight. Was that you? Did you speak, Senora? Laura, your sight must be keen. Gonzalo, keener than yours is. Yes, I think you've got a very good eyesight. Your eyesight is so keen, that's why you are taking one reading glass and then spectacles and trying to find the letters in the book. And then he was quite furious at her and he says, it's better than yours. You are also an old woman, I understand that. Just one look is enough for me to be convinced of that. So I have a better eyesight. Laura, yes, evidently. No doubt. I did not compare my eyesight with yours. I just said that your eyesight is so keen. That's it. Ask the hares and partridges. Now, hares and partridges, this is a reference to hunting. Hare belongs to the family of rabbits. And partridge refers to a small brown bird usually found in European countries. Now, hares and partridges were hunted for their meat. See, during those times, especially in the 18th, 19th centuries and all, it was quite a common practice among the gentleman folk to go for hunting. So that's why Gonzalo told her, you know, you ask the partridges and hares in my estate and they tell you that I'm a good hunter. Laura, huh? Do you hunt? Oh, you hunt? That was quite a good news for me. I did, and even now. So he says, I used to hunt. And even today I do that. Yes, of course. So from Laura's reply, Gonzalo understood that she did not believe whatever he has told. She did not believe that he could hunt. So Gonzalo says, yes, Senora, yes, madam, I do that. Every Sunday, I take my gun and dog. You understand? And go to one of my estates near Arawaka and kill time. You know, I go for hunting every Sunday and I have gun and a dog. Now here, gun, it is used for hunting. Now dogs are, or pack of dogs at times, or at least one dog they would take along with them, so that the dogs would chase the animals, the wild animals in the forest. And when these animals are cornered in bushes or so, their masters can go and shoot them. So here he refers to the hunting dog. So he told her, see, Senora, every Sunday I go along with my dog, I take a gun and in one of my estates in Arawaka, I spent time. Arawaka is a small town in the outskirts of Madrid. You know why I hunt? Not for anything, not for meat. Just to kill time. I have a lot of time at my disposal. So just to kill time, I go for hunting. And you should understand I'm a good hunter. You know, there are two qualities that any hunter would need. First thing, a hunter should have keen eyesight. That's very important. Second thing, he should have patience. A restless man cannot be a good hunter. You may have to wait for hours in order to have a good catch. So Gonzalo tries to convince this old woman that he has got good eyesight, he has got keen eyesight, and he is a good hunter also. Laura, yes, kill time, that's all you kill. Yes, I understand, my dear sir. You kill. What do you kill? Only time, not animals. Do you think so? I could show you a wild boar's head in my study. Lady, do you think that I could kill only time? No, you come to my home. There is a wild boar's head stuffed in my study. Here study refers to the study room, probably with a library where usually guests are received. Now, it was a practice among gentlemen folk to hunt animals, and if they had this wild boar or deer etc. hunted, heads were severed and they were stuffed and placed in their visiting rooms or in their study rooms so that people would know about their hunting skills. So he said, you come to my home, I'll tell you, I could even hunt a wild boar. Now, boar refers to a male pig. A wild male pig is very difficult to be hunted. And here he says, I had even done that in my younger days. And Laura, yes, I could show you a tiger skin in my bodo. What is that proof? You come to my home. I will also tell you a tiger skin is displayed in my bodo. Bodo, B-O-U-D-O-I-R. It's pronounced as bodo. It means the private room of a lady, the dressing room of a lady. In my dressing room, I have got the tiger skin. The tiger is killed, the skin is peeled, and then it is stuffed onto the wall of my room. And what does that prove? Do you think that I have hunted the tiger and peeled its skin? No, it has been done by somebody and it has been there. So I don't think that I will believe whatever you say. Very well, Senora, please allow me to read. Enough conversation. So now this old man has been tired of telling this old lady to stop the conversation. Every time he'll put an end to the conversation, she'll start up with one or the other things. First time he asked her to stop, and then she pointed out about his action of dusting the shoes with his handkerchief, and then another quarrel started. By the time it ended, or when he took out his book to read, she commented on his eyesight, and that again dragged him to another conversation, another verbal combat with this lady. So finally he says, please allow me to read. Let me please read. I don't want more conversation. Well, you subside then. And Laura says, okay, fine. I don't have anything more to say. It's your duty to be quiet. If you are quiet, I'll also be quiet. I am not, having more words with you, fight with you, she says. Gonzalo, but first, I shall take a pinch of snuff. Takes out snuff box. Will you have some? So now what he does is he's about to read. He has got everything ready for reading. And now he takes out a small snuff box. Snuff is nothing but powdered tobacco. See, there was a practice among those people that tobacco was powdered and kept in small ornamental decorated boxes. How do they apply it? They just take a pinch and then closing one nostril, they keep it onto the other nostril and take a deep breath. When they inhale the snuff, they felt that their senses are cleared, and probably soon after that sneezing followed. Or he was just exclaiming to himself, before I read, I just want to be relieved of all my tension, all my stress. So he started, taking a pinch of snuff. And for some reason, he just offered to Donna Laura. And he asked, will you have, do you want? Laura, if it is good, yes, I'll take it. But one condition, only if it is good. Gonzalo, it's of the finest. You will like it. And now this time the conversation has changed a little. It's slightly a friendly conversation. He says, I can guarantee you that it's one of the finest stuff and I'm sure you will like that. Laura takes a pinch of snuff that he has offered. It clears my head. Yes, I'm happy because what's the purpose of the snuff? It clears my head. I'm happy that all my stress and tension would be relieved now. And mine. So Gonzalo also feels the same things. Both of them have got something in common. Do you sneeze? Yes, Senora, 3 times. And so do I. What a coincidence. Laura is asking him, hey, do you have the habit of sneezing after taking this pinch of snuff? And now he says, yes, he admitted that he would sneeze 3 times. And Laura exclaims, it's really a coincidence because till then they had been fighting. Till then they had been fighting and they felt that there was something quite common in them. After taking the snuff, they await the sneezes, both anxiously, and sneeze alternately 3 times each. So now both of them took the snuff. They were waiting for the sneezes to come, and alternately they sneezed. Both of them sneezed 3 times, and both of them have at least a little bit of friendly conversation. Gonzalo, after his sneezes, "There, I feel better." So now he exclaims that I'm feeling much better after taking the snuff. Laura, "So do I. I also do feel the same thing." Aside, "The snuff has made peace between us." Now what is an aside? Aside is a dramatic technique by which one of the characters on the stage lets the audience know about what he or she has to say. So the thoughts of the character is revealed to the audience through this dramatic technique, but other characters on the stage will not know about it. So here when Laura says, "The snuff has now brought peace between us," it means it's an indication to the audience that she has stopped her verbal fight with this old man. She is going to talk to him in a friendly way. So there is peace among both of them. But she does not speak it loudly, or she does not mention about that to Gonzalo. So her thought is revealed to the audience. So dear students, I feel we can stop here. We have seen another phase of Don Gonzalo and Donna Laura. So they were having lots of verbal fight with each other, but after taking the pinch of snuff that Gonzalo had offered to Donna Laura, there is a slight change in her attitude towards the old man, and the conversation is slightly turning into a friendly one. So let us see what happens to Gonzalo and Laura in the next class. So what does the conversation that they have lead them to? Thank you.